fittingly playing for pride, for the man next to them, and for the love of the game. All of that was enough. Detroit sweeps the Bears this season with a final win here at Soldier Field, 19-16, thanks to a walk-off field goal winner from Jake Bates. Thanks so much for tuning into the Detroit Lions Live postgame show presented by Curado Insurance. For the last time this season, I'm joined by the Super Bowl champion, Lomas Brown. I'm Dannie Rogers. For the first time in weeks, Detroit's ground attack looked like itself, and the defense gave this team a chance to win, something we saw earlier this season when Detroit was humming, Lomas.
Oh, Danny, you could see from the first play out, this defense came ready to play. The offense was in rhythm. Those guys, they played hard. I'm so proud of those guys in that locker room because, again, really nothing to play for but pride, like you said, and they came out and they laid it all out on the line. I mean, just an inspiring effort from our total team today, something I wish we could have did a couple of weeks earlier. But they came out and they played really hard against the Chicago Bears team. The Bears team that's number one in our division right now. But they came out and played hard and got that victory for Dan Campbell and the rest of this organization tonight.
Yep, Detroit, last year's defending NFC North champs, takes down the current ones. The only NFC North wins Detroit was able to muster up this season. But they moved to 9-8 on the season. That means they finish with a winning record. Let's talk about that run game. Finally, over 100 rushing yards, which we haven't seen in a few weeks here at Lomas. Detroit took good care of the ball. Amon-Ra St. Brown led the passing attack. Jared Goff was stellar in that pocket today,
too. He really was. I mean, again, I just love the tempo of our offense, getting to the line of scrimmage, giving Jared enough time so if he needed to check into a better play, he can do that. I just love the aggressiveness that we had offensively. Some of the slant routes, the crossing routes, a lot of the throws that Jared Goff made to those guys enabled those guys to get yards after the catch. So it was just a great effort. And like you say, with our run game, Danny, we know we're predicated off the run. And those guys came out, established the line of scrimmage. I thought David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs did a great job of running hard when they had the opportunity.
Defensively, it started up front for Detroit. Aiden Hutchinson tacked on another sack. 14.5 on the season. That eclipses his career high. And the defense held Chicago Bears, who is led by DeAndre Swift in that ground game, to just 65 yards on the day, and that was a big piece of this defensive game plan.
It really was. I mean, I thought our front line, and that's what we've been waiting on, Danny, been waiting all year long, and I thought our front line played a total game, meaning they put pressure on Caleb when they needed to in the pass game, but they stopped the run. That's what we knew that Chicago wanted to come out and do, establish the line of scrimmage by running DeAndre Smith, by running Maang, or however you say his last name. It doesn't matter because we're going into the all season. But we did a great job of controlling those guys, forcing Caleb to have to put it up in the air. So our D-line came out inspired, and they played that way the whole game.
Someone who else was inspired was Jack Campbell. He only had 10 tackles today. He was relentless in terms of getting to the ball. Almost came up with a big INT today. Was around that recovery from Derek Barnes and Tyleek Williams there that gave Detroit the ball back on turnover on downs. And Jack Campbell once again leading this core, and that's why he's a first-time Pro Bowler this season.
Absolutely. I mean, that guy, he's a complete linebacker, and he kind of reminds me of a linebacker that played here, Brian Urlacher, a guy that can play the run, but a guy that can drop back and play the pass too. Jack Campbell is our leader on the defensive side of the ball. He proves that game after game. Like I say, he comes up with the timely hits. He comes up with the tackles that he needs to do. But when you need him to drop back in coverage and cover a tight end or a running back, he can do that too for you. So he's just a complete linebacker, and he's one of the best players, I think, in the NFC, period.
In the secondary, defensive back Avonte Maddox, who has had to step into a few roles this season due to injury, came up with his first INT as a Detroit Lion. He was in there in the end zone waiting for the ball to get to him and came up with a big turnover.
Great film study, Danny, because watch that play. Caleb Williams used that play against Green Bay for a game-winning touchdown play. It was just great film study from Maddox to beat the receiver to that spot, like you say, come up with the big INT that we needed to stop that drive of the Chicago Bears. So just a great job of the guys paying attention to the small details, but yet and still going out and being able to execute it too.
The leader of the interior defensive line for Detroit is no doubt DJ Reader. In year 10, he didn't have the biggest smile on his face walking off this field tonight because he knows he has to watch some football from his couch coming up. Yeah. But I spoke with Reader post-game. Here's his thoughts. DJ, week 18 coming down to the final play. Go ahead, field goal from the special teams unit here today, but what kind of response did the defense have in never letting the Bears and that potent offense lead today?
Man, felt like we just played for our brothers beside us today, and offense came along, defense played extremely good. Shep had us hit some good calls, man, and the guys got out there for one more time, man, to end the year off right.
No postseason after this, so what kind of motivation did the team use today to get this win?
I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes, but we're 1-0 in 2026, and we just got to keep it rolling next year.
Speaking of next year, how can this win fuel you? How can this season and what this team accomplished, getting over 500, what can that do?
I think anytime you end the season with a winning record, man, you got motivation for the next year. This year didn't go how we wanted, but we ended with a winning record. Guys got better. A lot of guys finished the season healthy, and it's just a blessing. It's a blessing to play this game, so we just got to come back and go harder next year.
CJ. Well, Detroit kept the streak alive. 2 years of never allowing the Bears to lead, and they are still in it. And they swept the Bears. So there you go, 2-0 this season against Chicago. Head coach Dan Campbell is standing by at the podium. Let's hear from him.
All right. Good win by the guys. Proud of them. That's the way to finish. I didn't expect anything different out of them, just knowing the guys that we had. And I tell you what, but nonetheless, I'm still proud of them because, it's not always the easiest thing. You get eliminated, and it's hard for some guys to, you're back out in the elements, and it's with the team that's already clinched, But our guys fought, man. And from the beginning, even when they came back, we were up 2 scores. They came back. Our guys didn't bat an eye, and we were able to finish it out. And it was really one of the best games we played as far as complimentary football. That's really what a lot of really good performances by a lot of guys. Questions?
Just the defense in particular, Dan, especially the run defense. That was a team that came in, I think, averaged about 150 yards. 65 yards was the lowest they've had all year long. You really seemed to control that part of it, and they couldn't really get going because of it. It seemed especially early.
Yeah, I mean, that was big. It's always going to be an emphasis during the week, but we knew that was, that's what you have to do to control that offense. You have to be able to control the run game, and for us, we knew we wanted to get going. We really kind of opened it up with a pass game, but then once we did, and some of the perimeter runs, that we really started busting it open. I thought the O-line did a good job. Really proud of Decker and Graham. Man, Hubbard, getting his first start in a while, off the practice squad, ready to go. We'll see the tape, but I thought he did some really good things. But the O-line in general, really showed up for us today.
In the complimentary football, why were you guys able to stifle them offensively through the first 3 quarters there?
Defensively, their offense, yeah. Well, we were able to get off the field, and so we didn't get any of these explosive runs. They hit a couple, but 7-yard gain, and then we're able to get 2 more stops, right? And we get off the field, and so man, the 3 and outs were big, and then we were able to control it on offense. We had some long drives, took up a lot of the clock. Conversions, we got to turn those into touchdowns, but ultimately makes it hard. When you're the other play caller on the other sideline and your offense can't stay on the field, you just went through 3 plays, and you're like, okay, what's going on? You start going through what should we get to? Well, you only ran 3 plays, so, and then you come back and now you only run 6 plays. It's hard to figure out what you want to get to, what you're trying to set up for the next time if you're able to just go 3 and out or 6 and out, And so that was big for our defense. They really set the tone for the day, and they're, again, just complimentary football.
What about offensively being able to control the time of possession, especially here? I think it was 11 plays, 16 plays, 9 plays, 11 plays on your scoring drives. Just being able to maintain the football much better than you have been probably the last month or
so.
Third down was really good for us, really good. You know, our protection was great, and Goff was, man, he was on it, you know, and just his pocket presence, awareness, getting rid of the ball, knowing where to go, processing the whole thing, and then our playmakers making plays, you know, our guys making plays, and that includes Leaf. Leaf's had some big plays for us, you know, obviously J-Mo. Saint was huge once again. When is he not huge? Just, you know, but I felt like everybody had a hand in that. Gibbs, you know, even Furt. So, you know, we were able to spread it around, and Goff found them. So it was a good job.
Obviously, 2022 is a different situation, but going out on a high note, you know, kind of led y'all into a better season next year. Do you feel like, you know, when you end the season on, can that bleed into the next year at all when you go on a high note with a win that last?
Well, I'll say this: I believe that things happen for a reason, right, wrong, or indifferent, or what. And I just, when something like this happens, I believe it's going to be for the best. And it's up to Brad and I to make it for the best, and the guys that we know we're going to count on that are on this team. So that's how I view it, because as good as it felt to get that, and it's the last one, let's call it what it is. Pretty pissed all week, you know, and it's a bad feeling. And now we're going into the playoffs, and you get to watch everybody else go while you're sitting at home, and it's frustrating. So that's what fuels you. We don't want to be doing that again next year. That's not where we want to be. You got to get in.
Did you showed up today in your mind that maybe you hadn't seen for several weeks with this team?
Well, probably just that complimentary football. I mean, honestly, when we needed it most, all three phases really showed up for us in a big way. I mean, it was like clockwork. You know, we were able to control the time of possession. Not that we were necessarily trying to do that, but have these long drives, and then, you know. And about the time, you know, something bad happens on offense, the defense steps right up and just comes up with a big takeaway or, you know, a big stop. And then when we get scored on, our offense goes right down the field when we needed it. You know, that series at the end where we have the turnover, defense holds them, you know, forces the punt, and then we go back. Goff hit Saint for that huge play. We got some runs there to get us in field goal range, and then Bates, after the one he had earlier, steps up in a critical and makes it. I mean, that's what winning teams do, you know, and we haven't had that in a while. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks.
Did you learn anything about your team this week, or did it just reaffirm?
No, I think it reaffirmed. You know, we'll know some things just watching the tape about how some of these guys did, particularly some of the young guys. But the guys that I knew we could count on showed up again, you know, one more time, which didn't surprise me one bit. And, you know, I still believe the nucleus of this team is right. I really do. But we're going to need to make a few changes, you know, and that's not just talking about that. It'll be collectively. We're going to have to work through some things to get the best version of ourselves.
You got a lot of old friends on that sideline. Did that give you or the team any extra juice, do you think, coming into this one at all?
I mean, I don't, you know, honestly, I've been so whatever with what happened last week, and just trying to get prepared for this one, you know, and get our guys ready to go. I don't know. You'd have to ask them. But listen, I wish them well. You know, a lot of people that I think a lot of over there. You know, between obviously, you know, Ben and the guys that were with us, JT and L. But then, man, that half that staff's from New Orleans. They were, you know, I know those guys. I coach with them in New Orleans. So I wish them the best of luck, and you know, I respect the hell out of them. They're good coaches. Good men.
Guys, your prior success has put you at the top of the power rankings list. That's a good thing, right?
Well, just means you've gone from the underdog to the favorite.
But those expectations come from prior success, so that's okay.
What about Cure? Where do you guys rank on the power list?
Actually, we just got named by Forbes as one of the best car insurance companies in America.
Now you're the favorite.
Guess we have a lot in common.
Go Cure.
Go Lions.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to cure.com to see how you can save. Detroit's ground attack was challenged this week. Could it get back to its old self before the season ended? Well, challenge accepted by Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Gibbs, 80 yards on the ground. Montgomery tacked on another 42. Lots of razzle-dazzle, especially with Montgomery in this game, trying to pull off some flea flickers, direct snaps. Montgomery's. They were trying to get him another passing TD, but Gibbs, his touchdown in the second quarter, a 15-yard pass from Jared Goff, was the only touchdown for Detroit on the day. It was the only one that they needed. What did you see from Gibbs and the line of scrimmage that helped this ground attack just eat some yards tonight?
Oh, I mean, again, Danny, they were sticking their foot in the ground and getting downhill. And that's what you need your running backs to do, especially when you're shuffling your offensive line the way we've been doing pretty much this whole season. You can't have those long developing plays. You have to have more quick hitting plays. And that's what Jahmyr Gibbs was doing. That's what David Montgomery was doing too. So I think that helped our run game out tremendously by them guys, like I say, sticking their foot in the ground, getting downhill, hitting the holes that were there, and if they had the opportunity, being able to cut back because the offensive line gave them that opportunity.
Second quarter touchdown, our play of the game. It was right after an Amon-Ra St. Brown third down catch from Jared Goff, which was a dime. Goff went to the air again, to find Gibbs for this touchdown pass.
Yeah, man, I just love the way Jared Goff played. And again, he bought time, Danny. They said this man couldn't move around in the pocket. I thought he did a great job of moving around, buying time, either moving to the left, moving to the right, or even moving back when he had to. He had those twinkle toes moving tonight, and it did him well because he bought just enough time to find guys like Amon-Ra, to find guys like Jahmyr Gibbs come across on some of those longer routes. So kudos to Jared Goff, kudos to that offensive line. I thought they played a complete game.
Speaking of Amon-Ra St. Brown, he was Jared Goff's safety blanket all night long. 11 catches, good for 139 yards. St. Brown looked like him old self again, coming up with third down catch after third down catch. And he was a spark plug that this offense needed. They need him a little bit sooner than today, but they got the OG St. Brown back.
They did. They really did. And he just continues to stack numbers on top of numbers. Man, the routes that guy runs, that's why he gets open. People ask, why is he open all the time? Because he runs precise routes, and he runs routes that gets himself open. He's so smart at reading the defense. If it's man coverage, he knows how to set the defensive back up on him. If it's zone coverage, he knows how to find the soft spots in the zone coverage, sit it down for Jared Goff. And they just seem to have such a chemistry, especially on some of those out routes, those timing routes, where it's all ultra important for them to have that chemistry going on. Those guys seem to be the best at doing it.
St. Brown needed 14 catches to eclipse his career high in receptions in a season. He falls just 3 short, but over 200 receiving yards between these two today. Jamison Williams, 74 yards on the day. 23 yards was his longest catch. What did you see from J-Mo in terms of impacting the receiving game?
Yeah, Danny, he's been getting better and better all season long. J-Mo, he is the complete receiver now. This guy can run. Everybody used to just think he was just a speedster, a guy that you send on a go route. Now this guy has built himself and built his receiving and route tree up to where he could almost run any route that needs to be run. I tell you what, next year when you get him and you get Saint rolling, it's going to be hard for defenses to decide on who you want to double team, who you want to try to jam up, who you want to play man on, who you want to play zone on. Those are the type of problems that both of those guys can present. And I'm just so proud of how J-Mo throughout this whole year has continued to get better and better each and every week.
91 yards after catch between J-Mo and Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is music to this man's ears. Jared Goff, 42 passing attempts tonight. He was good for 27 on them. came up with over 330 passing yards and 1 touchdown. What did you see from Goff, who opted for 2 gloves tonight?
I know, 2 gloves. Hey, I seen what I've been seeing all year long from Jared Goff. The consistency, right? That even demeanor that he has and he carries into each game. And then like Coach Campbell said, it's almost like having an offensive coordinator out there on the field when you have Jared Goff, because Jared makes some of the plays that he calls in right. He puts them in the right position that they need to be in to have success. So I've seen everything that I've seen the whole year long from Jared Goff, which is a consistent, top-notch quarterback in this league, somebody we should be happy that we have here on our team.
Yeah, big year 10 for Goff. How did you just see him progress a little bit here this season?
He's like a mature father.
He is a father.
Yes, he is. You can just see now he has a kid. So he's like that mature father out there, year 10, like you say. And the game slows down for you, Danny. It's almost like you've seen that, done that, been there. And that's what I think is happening to Jared Goff. The game is slowed down for him. He's able to dissect defenses, and he's able to attack the defenses with the right plays. And like I say, you have to be a quarterback that can put other guys in position to have success. And that's one of the best things that he does.
Goff successfully 23 straight games with a passing TD, but he had to do a lot of this season with an O-line that was interchanged. Lots of injuries, trying to figure out who fits where best, dating back to training camp. How did he maneuver that for the season? I know,
and that's difficult. That's really tough to do if you think about it, because number one, you have to take care of your job, right? But not just his job, right? He got 10 other guys up there that he has to help put in position and make sure those guys are in the right position. So I thought Jared took on more of a leadership role, especially from, again, almost kind of like a coaching standpoint where you got a coach on the field, a guy that's helping these guys get in the right position. And think about, just like you said, so many different lineups. We had 9, 10 different lineups from your offensive line. He had skill positions that got hurt, losing Sam Laporta and all that, one of his main blankets that he had. But yet and still, Jared was able to adjust, go to the next guy, and help elevate the next guy, as we've seen in a guy like Isaac Tesla later on this season becoming more and more active in this offense. So it always does good when you have a veteran quarterback like a Jared Goff that, like I said, been there, done that. That guy can help kind of smooth the ways offensively for you.
Yeah, head coach Dan Campbell, he helped elevate Ben Johnson to the position he's in right now. What do you think this one means to Coach Campbell?
Oh, man, it has to mean a lot. Come on now, look, you're the mentor. You don't want your mentee to beat you, right? So, it has to mean a lot for them to come here, especially because the season hadn't gone the way we thought the season was going to go. But yet and still, to go up in here against the division leaders and beat them not once, but beat them twice, beat them in a game where you really didn't have a lot on the line for us, but they had everything on the line for them with their seeding. So it was just great. I know Coach has to feel good about that, and it has to kind of springboard you towards next year.
Well, Jared Goff's got to feel good about this win as well. Getting one against his former offensive coordinator. Goff is standing by the podium. Let's hear from him.
All right. How did it feel to get a win in that environment, just close the season on?
Yeah, it felt good, man. It felt good to finish it that way, and I thought we played well in all phases. I thought we left some points out there offensively, certainly in the red zone, but defense played really well and gave us a couple more chances there. And, we made it happen. Batesy with the big one.
Offense was super efficient today, especially in the first half. Just what kind of helped you guys get off on the right foot and keep going?
Yeah, we were mixing it up pretty good. I thought the play calling was really good, and the run game was working, the play action was working, the drop back was working. Our time of possession was really good. We were holding on to the ball. We were converting on third down. All the stuff that's typically indicative of a good offense. We were doing that in the first half, and just wish we could have punched in those red zone ones.
7 different pass catchers. Your guys kind of making plays when they needed to. Just how nice is it to end the year that way offensively? Getting the football to your playmakers and having them make plays to win games.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there at the end, getting to St. Brown to close it out felt really good. And we got a lot of really good skill players, and being able to get them out in space was nice.
Does it ever cease to amaze you how he can just keep coming into games banged up? Like I think back to
St. Brown. Yeah.
this week too, and just to have the kind of performance that he did today?
Yeah, we're kind of used to it, and it's probably taking it for granted a little bit, but he doesn't complain. He doesn't say a word about it. He shows up to practice. It's 10 degrees out there. You guys are out there. He's practicing hard. He's doing everything right. Like you would never know either way, which just speaks to how special he is as a human.
Had a few old friends on that sideline, Ben, JT.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you guys had any extra juice coming into this game because of that?
No, I don't think so. I really don't. I think he's a great coach. He's doing great things. I have really good memories, obviously, with him, and they've got the playoffs to look forward to, and we don't. But we were just trying to get a W. I think it was more so just in division. You want to win that one, less about who it is over there. But yeah.
What do you mean? Taking some shots this year. What was it like?
They played great today, man. They really did. Yeah, they played really well. All those guys played well. Hubbard, I thought, stepped up in a huge way at right tackle, and they were leaning on him. The run game was really good. We were opening it up for those guys. Downhill, you could see the line of scrimmage moving, and then the pass protection was really good as well. So they had a really good day today, and I was proud of those guys.
Any advice for David on the sack that he took there?
Yeah, throw it away. Yeah, no. It's always hard for those skill guys to be able to think like they're throwing it and then they got to throw it away. But yeah, you wish you threw it away, but whatever. I wish you would give me a jump ball opportunity just down the field.
All good, guys?
All good. Thank you, guys.
Guys, your prior success has put you at the top of the power rankings list. That's a good thing, right?
Well, just means you've gone from the underdog to the favorite.
But those expectations come from prior success, so that's okay.
What about Cure? Where do you guys rank on the power list?
Actually, we just got named by Forbes as one of the best car insurance companies in America.
Now you're the favorite.
Guess we have a lot in common.
Go Cure.
Go Lions.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to cure.com to see how you can save. Detroit ends their season on a high note, finishing with a winning record, 9-8, sweeping the Bears. They couldn't three-peat that NFC North title division. And there's going to be some really tough questions that this staff and these players are going to have to ask themselves and each other when this thing's all over, Lomas.
No, it is, Danny. You're right about that. The one thing that you don't want to go into the all season on a loss. So Detroit avoided that. 2, you wanted to go up against the best in your division. We did that going up and beating Chicago Bears both times. So again, you're right. There's going to be a lot of tough decisions. There might be some people that might not be here next year. But again, you know how to move forward. This team, when they come out and they play and they execute to the best of their ability, we're one of the best teams in the NFL. And we know that now going up against the Chicago Bear team. A lot of things didn't go right for us. You could talk about injuries. You could talk about losing the coordinators. It's a lot of things you can talk about, but this team has grit, this team has heart, and they have the nucleus here that you could build around. And I expect the coaching staff, Brad Holmes and the rest of the brass, to go out and make sure that they get that taken care of for the 2026 season.
When you do look at this offseason, what is the number one area that this team needs to attack in order to improve?
Danny, the lines of scrimmage. And when I say that, the offensive line and the defensive line. Getting Aiden Hutchinson a little help up there, up on the defensive line with him. Getting the middle of our offensive line back together. We know we got our stalwart and Panay Sewell, but Will Taylor Decker be there? Will we have to get a left tackle? Getting those guys in the middle of that offensive line to shore things up there so we could give Jared Goff the protection he needs and also open the holes up for Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery.
Ooh, it's going to be an interesting offseason to see what moves Detroit decides to make. Thank you so much for watching all season long our Detroit Lions Live postgame show presented by Cure Auto Insurance. For the last one, that's Lomas Brown, the Super Bowl champ. I'm Dannie Rogers. Great win to go out on in this season. Detroit gets it done at Chicago. 19-16 is the final. Happy off season, Detroit, or not very happy off season, but enjoy it. A lot of work to do before Dan Campbell and his Lions take the field again for next season. Good night, everyone.